It's Thursday, August 14th, 2025 at 6:30 PM. Let me call to order a regular scheduled meeting of the Woodland Park Planning Commission. You ready to call the roll?
Yes, sir. Ken Kennedy,
Here.
Don Hoying,
Here.
Don DeZellem,
Here.
Vice Chair Larry Larson,
Present.
Chair Lee Brown,
Here.
and absent tonight, we have Ken Hartsfield and Jared Newcomb. And in the room, we have the planner CJ Gates and planning director Karen Schmink is on Zoom.
All right, have a pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag, United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I was not here, but the rest of you, I think, were for the last meeting. Have you had a chance to look at the minutes, questions, comments, motion?
I actually have a comment. Page 4, 1, 2, 3, fourth paragraph down. Second sentence. Kurt Soka provided the applicant rebuttal, her reiterated. I think it was he. Reiterated. City directed them to apply for an extension. Just a typo.
Okay.
I think you're right.
Would you like to make
You
a
said
motion
four.
reflecting that change?
I'll make a motion to reflect the change in that paragraph of those minutes.
And second, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. Next item is public hearing, item 4A, Sturman PUD Amendment A250154. Request by Carolyn Dominy, applicant, and Dominy Family Living Trust, property owner, for approval of a PUD amendment to change the use from automobile vehicle repair and maintenance shop and single-family residential to single-family residential with ability to have a home occupation, a bed and breakfast, or a non-primary residence short-term rental unit in the PUD zone. Subject property is located north of Trout Creek Road, is 2 lots. Lot 1, Innovation Park filing number 1, also known as 1000 Sturman Parkway, and Lot 2, Innovation Park filing number 1, also known as 1006 Sturman Parkway, both in Woodland Park, Teller County. And can we have a staff presentation, CJ?
Yes, we do, Chair. Thanks. As the chair said, this is a request for a PUD amendment to the Sturman Planned Unit Development. In December of 2000, the subject property was annexed into the city and zoned planned unit development. The property is located north of Trout Creek Road and east of the southern entrance to the Andrew Womack Ministries headquarters. In 2014, a 9.83 acre parcel was subdivided into 3 large lots and Tract A. And it's also known as Innovation Park filing number 1. The applicants and owners of the subject property purchased lots 1 and 2 from the Sturmans in 2019. Also in 2019, the current owners, the Dominies, and another individual acting as the applicant applied for and gained approval of a planned unit development amendment to change the use to light manufacturing, industrial, R&D, machine shop to automotive vehicle repair and maintenance shop with education, apprentice program, and 1 single-family residential unit on Lot 1 of Innovation Park filing 1. The Planning Commission approved this request on December 12th of 2019. Although this PUD was never approved by planning, this PUD was approved, the use never came to fruition. Because the use was approved by Planning Commission, that entitlement still stands. Lot 1 and 2 of Innovation Park filing number 1 are zoned as PUD, as seen here on this slide. This slide is a zoomed in aerial photo of the subject property, which are outlined in red. Currently existing on Lot 1 are 2 storage sheds and a 2,520 square foot shop built in 2000 that is being used for storage. It is not currently being used for business or commercial purposes. Lot 2 is where the Domini's personal residence is located, which was built in 1989 and which is served by a commercial well and individual septic disposal system. The Dominis live at the residence full-time and is not currently used for business or commercial purposes. Tract A is located on the west side of Lot 1. Its purpose is for ingress, egress, utilities, and future road improvements. This road here is also known as Sturman Parkway, which is Tract A. Lots 1 and 2 are located within the designated area labeled as Building Site 8 of the Sturman PUD. This slide is a snapshot of that Building Site 8 portion of the PUD map. This is another snapshot of the Sturman PUD, which provides additional information regarding the original allowed uses for Building Site 8. On the next slide, we'll go into a little more depth about these uses and what's being proposed. As previously stated, in 2019, the Planning Commission approved the request for a PUD amendment to allow for an automotive vehicle repair and maintenance shop on Lot 1. Even though this use was never established on the subject property, the entitlement still stands, thus needing a PUD amendment to update the desired use of this entitlement. The owner and applicant are proposing a PUD amendment to change the use from automotive vehicle repair and maintenance shop and single-family residential to single-family residential with the ability to have a home occupation, bed and breakfast, or a non-primary residence short-term rental unit on both lots 1 and 2. I would like to point out that the verbiage proposed on the non-primary residence short-term rental unit, the applicants would like to retain this entitlement to run this sort of operation. This new language is consistent with the current zoning regulations in comparison to the current allowed uses as vacation rentals. So that's why we changed that verbiage there.
Excuse me, right?
So I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
So the current allowed use is vacation rentals, bed and breakfast, and the automotive shop on Lot 1. The request is to add the proposed allowed uses for Lot 1 and Lot 2.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Since Ron was asking, I was looking at the table of permitted uses for zoning ordinance. I don't have the ordinance that was passed and by the voters.
Oh,
But in
from the
fact,
standpoint of short-term rentals?
Yeah, the table of uses has for non-primary resident short-term units. It does not have a P or PC for PUD.
Mhm.
So it's not permitted by the ordinance that was passed, and we're within 2 years, so I think there's a problem with this tinkering with it all. I would be reluctant to tinker with it anyways, without a good understanding of the circumstances after the vote of the citizens on the matter, but I'm just wondering if it's
Yeah.
an issue to do it at all within the 2 year period. To
Yeah, let's
create
just-
a non-primary household use in an area where it's not permitted by the ordinance.
Yeah,
So-
we'll get through the presentation and then I think during the deliberation portion, we can kind of talk about that. And then we also have Nina Williams, our attorney online, if she feels the need to step in, she can, and Karen's also online, so she could step in as well. But yeah, if we can just get through this presentation, have the applicant talk, and then we can kind of deliberate if that's all right.
Does anyone need any more on this now, or should we come back to it?
Well, we'll come back to it.
Okay.
Chapter 1830 has been considered in the evaluation and analysis of this plan unit development amendment. A full analysis of this review was included within your staff report. I would like to point out a couple provisions here on this slide and the next. First being that the final plan requirements. The proposed PUD amendment is in line with the current residential character of this portion of the PUD. Any future structures and dwelling units proposed at the subject properties are still subject to all rules and regulations outlined in the Woodland Park Municipal Code. Since this previous PUD amendment was approved in 2019, the city has also adopted a new comprehensive master plan. The 2030 master plan has a future land use map and has identified these two lots in the area for mixed use. This request does meet the requirements within the mixed use area due to the residential and business-like uses we are talking about here tonight. The next provision is plan changes, which hits on the availability of water. The single-family residence is located on Lot 2 of Innovation Park Filing Number 1 and is currently being served by a private well and septic system. The well and sewer supply status of Lot 1 Innovation Park Filing 1 is currently unknown by city staff. In result of this provision, staff is proposing the condition of approval number 4 that reads, property owners and or future tenants of Lot 2 of Innovation Park Filing 1 may continue to use the septic system and well as long as these services are maintained in good working condition. However, it is City of Woodland Park policy that if the septic system or well ever fails, the owner is required to connect to city services. For any future development that requires water service on Lot 1 of Innovation Park Filing 1, the owner will be required to connect to the city water system. This provision may comply if the owner and applicant comply with the conditions of approval. The application was referred to the entities listed here on this slide, and staff only received one comment, and that was from the City of Woodland Park Utilities Department. The Utilities Director stated that for any future development that requires water service on Lot 1 of Innovation Park Filing 1, the owner will be required to connect to the city water system. If the current owner applied to build a single-family residence in the future, a water tap would potentially be available to the residents because of the residential use being approved within the PUD. And there's currently a water main available, that abuts the property within Tract A, previously discussed in the presentation. And staff's recommendation is approval based on the findings in the staff report and presented at public hearing of the request by Carolyn Dominy and the Dominy Family Living Trust for approval of a PUD amendment to change the use from automotive vehicle repair and maintenance shop and single-family residential to single-family residential with the ability to have a home occupation, bed and breakfast, and a non-primary residence short-term rental unit in the PUD zone. The subject property located north of Trout Creek Road is 2 lots, Lot 1, Innovation Park Filing 1, and Lot 2, Innovation Park Filing 1, both in Woodland Park, Teller County, subject to the following conditions. Number 1, prior to construction of a single-family home, the applicant must apply for and gain approval of a single-family zoning development permit with the City of Woodland Park, as well as all applicable building permits with Pikes Peak Regional Building Department. Prior to construction of any new structures, the applicant must apply for and gain approval of a development permit with the City of Woodland Park, as well as all applicable building permits with Pikes Peak Regional. 3, prior to operating a non-primary residence short-term rental unit at the subject property, the applicant must submit for and gain approval of a short-term rental business license with the City of Woodland Park. And lastly, 4, the property owners and or future tenants of Lot 2 of Innovation Park Filing 1 may continue to use the individual sewage disposal system and water well as long as these services are maintained in good working condition. However, it is City of Woodland Park policy that if the ISDS or well fails, then the owner is required to connect to city services. For any future development that requires water service on Lot 1 of Innovation Park Filing 1, the owner will be required to connect to the city water system. This concludes my presentation. We also have Mr. and Mrs. Dominy in the audience here tonight, if you guys have any questions for them.
Okay, first, let me just see if there's any question on the staff report.
I do. Could you repeat or clarify when was the annexation of the property into the city?
The annexation was, I believe, in 2000.
And were these owners the owners at time that it was annexed?
The current owners?
Correct.
No, the current owners bought the property in 2019.
Thank you.
Other questions for the staff?
CJ, on the vicinity map that you showed at the very beginning,
Okay,
it shows that the property to the north is AWMI
yep,
headquarters. I assume that's Andrew Womack.
Yes.
Ministries.
that's correct.
You also said that this particular portion was located within the Sturman's PUD.
Correct.
Is property to the north also part of Sturman's PUD?
Yeah, that's the biggest portion of the Sturman PUD is that whole, area.
Okay,
up
so there's no,
north.
there has been a formal amendment to change that to accommodate,
This residential area, no.
okay. Do you anticipate that would happen someday? You don't know.
It's tough.
Okay.
Yeah, because ultimately it would be the three landowners, because it's a 3-lot subdivision. The three landowners would have to get together to either get out of the PUD and just be a straight zone district, or, if something were to happen like that, so.
I guess the follow-up question would be, is the current use of that property in compliance with the Sturman PUD?
It is.
Okay.
Yes.
So I have a related question. And so these lots are a portion of the overall PUD, correct?
That's correct.
These are not the sole owners within the PUD. Correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yes.
So,
Within the subdivision, there is one other residential lot that is owned by a different individual.
okay, there's subdivision, but that's within the PUD and we're amending the PUD.
Correct.
Okay, so where I'm very uncertain in my head is to amend the PUD that affects all parties within the PUD. So how do we amend a portion of the PUD? And I'll give you a somewhat trivial example in this case, but like open space requirements apply to the whole PUD, and so it affects everybody. So,
I agree. I would not argue the point, but I think, playing devil's advocate as far as, our code is concerned, and, this individual change would, yes, it does impact the whole PUD because they are zoned planning and development and within that Sturman PUD. But these two lots are owned by the Dominies, and they have, the will to change it, and they have the ability to change the plan unit development, because not one person just owns the plan unit development, if that makes sense.
Excuse me,
yeah, please.
no worries. And I apologize, my voice is not that great and the smoke is really kind of affecting my ability to speak, so just bear with me. As you saw in 2019, a request was made to amend uses for specific parcels within the PUD. So that's what you've got in front of you this evening, is we're talking about just these two pieces of ground and not the entire PUD. So that does really kind of narrow your focus and discussion. That's the tactic and the approach we were taking, and how this was noticed was it is very specific to lots 1 and 2 of Innovation Park subdivision.
Yeah, so maybe to kind of continue the conversation a little bit. So presumably if other parties connected with the PUD had an objection to the change, because maybe they felt that it affected them negatively, then through the what's the word I'm using, where we post to the neighbors as well, and the opportunity for a public comment, which we haven't gotten to yet. Is that how those concerns and rights would be addressed if someone had an objection? Is that how
Somebody
we-
who's not a party to the application absolutely has that ability to present their concerns through the hearing process.
Okay.
Okay, there apparently being no more comments for the moment. Would represent the applicants, Mr. Dominey?
Did you want to walk the dog on the permitted uses or wait? It was your question that we haven't gotten to yet.
Oh, well, is there more discussion? Okay, we'll go ahead with that before we have the applicant.
Okay, so there's I'll say a apparent inconsistency in the code that no residential uses show up in the permitted uses in the table of permitted uses. But we know from reading what a PUD is, it talks about residential, and it talks about no more than, I think, if I remember right, 2 dwelling units per acre. So clearly it's envisioned that residential uses could be part of a PUD. So I think it's worth just clarifying that apparent inconsistency in the code.
In our code of, or table of permitted uses, Looking at the two short-term rental lines, one for non-primary residents has several commercial districts and a blank space for PUD. Looking at the one that says for primary resident short-term, which is the ones allowed in residential generally in the zone,
Correct.
zone for the city. That does have a P in it.
Correct.
And there, PUD is a special kind of provision, but it seems the character of this lot, and in fact, the usage which is being asked and expressly stated is residential. So I was just raising the question about the acceptability of the municipal ordinance or the desirability as a matter of policy, and there are circumstances here to allow non-primary resident short-term rental units in a residential
Yeah, the
area,
ordinance
even though
is-
it's a PUD.
And the table 4A, the non-primary does not have an allowed use in PUD. It's not a permitted or
Right, and the
permitted condition or
non-primary is the
anything.
one they're looking for.
Correct. The primary is permitted. This is the ordinance.
Okay, cool.
And it was December 12th, 2023. So the 2-year moratorium before that can be changed is not till December of
I would suggest that
2025.
there's a 2-year, that 2-year limit may prescribe or authorizing it, but as a matter of policy or good
Correct.
judgment, it may also not be a good idea.
It'd be up to the city council, but it definitely
Was that permitted in the, prior to the passage of that ordinance?
there was other permitted uses that didn't reference short-term rentals because short-term rentals did not appear in the table.
Okay.
But when it was added,
Okay.
it was clearly added as primary residence short-term is permitted in the PUD, but non-primary residence short-term rental is not listed as permitted in the
So to
PUD.
summarize, this is clearly not in line with the intent of the ordinance, but because the ordinance is not yet in effect, provides a bit of a gray area. Is that a fair
No,
summary?
this ordinance went into effect December 2023.
And then when you said there was a 2-year,
The 2 years, you are not allowed for the city council to alter a voter installed ordinance.
Right.
When the voters put it in, the city council can't change it for 2 years.
oh, okay, all right, so then it's. then
Minimum.
This applies now today then.
Yeah, this is actually in effect. This is the
Right,
current.
Okay, so the non-primary is clearly a non-permitted
Permitted use in a
the
There's
PUD.
an interesting anomaly as well here, and this is some of the problems with our ordinance drafting. A bed and breakfast is listed as PC under PUD.
Mhm.
And a bed and breakfast is not well defined as differing from a short-term rental. As I recall, it simply says it's something like a motel with less lodging for less than 10 bedrooms.
And their
And so
PUD
to
calls out
authorize-
vacation rentals, which is an interesting anomaly as well.
To authorize a bed and breakfast would be would subsume primary residents and non-primary resident short-term rentals because as long as they didn't rent out more than 10 bedrooms. Lodge.
And I would like to point out that within the code in section 1833 is the use regulations. It does have a specific section for bed and breakfast. So it is, definitely two different uses within the municipal code. So 1833-161 is bed and breakfast. And it has standards there from A to L. Within the municipal code. So the establishments
Are any of the
provide
standards like
short-term.
clearly distinguishing a bed and breakfast from a non-residential
No.
STR?
No, it
So,
doesn't.
excuse me, I appreciate the discussion you all are having, but we're only partway through the public hearing. You may want to continue with the hearing, and then circle back to this whole conversation, on the use.
Okay.
Yep.
Remember that?
Okay, well, let me get back where we were a few minutes ago then. Ask if the applicants would like to speak. Just- If you need to state your name and address.
Carolyn Dominy, 1006 Thurman Parkway, Woodland Park. And did you have questions or?
So you have no presentation, but you're available for questions?
Correct.
Does anyone have questions for them?
Well, I think we will. Sound like there's reasonably likely we'll have a question whether or not they would care to adjust their request to exclude the non-residential short-term
Yeah,
rental.
I think let's.
But we're not there yet, but
No,
it sounds like
we're not
that might
there. If
be,
we don't have questions
that
for the
might be,
applicant specifically, we get.
Well, I have
we
a
we
question.
can get,
Could you just describe a little bit what your planned intention is for lot one and lot two? Since you're
Sure.
living currently on lot two?
Yes, okay, so when we had initially bought the property, it was for investment. And so that's why we had another gentleman that wanted to do the automotive, okay? And that didn't really work out, and we decided to make that our primary residence. And we were renting out the house, which was converted by the Sturmans previously to offices, and we were renting it to those employees till 2020. And then we got a permit, remodeled, made that the permanent home. And so the shop is commercial, and we don't use it for commercial. It's a man's cave, and then we use it for our grandchildren. And so and on the easement for if AWMI ever wants to widen the road, it will go right through our current shed. So we were going to apply to build a cold storage on the east side of the shop, and they said it was commercial. There's a lot more hoops that you have to jump through, and it was like, we're not even using this for commercial. So let's have it amended back to residential, because at one time it was residential when the Sturman's daughter lived in it, and then they converted it to the office space. So we're just trying to get it back to residential because we're not operating a business out of the house or the shop.
Okay, thank you.
actually, I can find one more. There was a request for authorization for home occupations. Is there any particular plan in that regard? Or does, maybe CJ may know if you don't know.
Yeah, as far as the home occupations go, that was included because it's currently allowed. So within the request, we wanted to ensure that it is known that whatever is included currently within that PUD allowed uses within that snapshot that I showed you. You know, automotive vehicle repair, they want to get rid of that. Residential single family, they want to retain that use. Home occupations, they would like to retain that use. Bed and breakfast, they would like to retain that use. And then vacation rentals, they would like to retain that use.
That's on lot one, correct?
So, yes,
And they want to
On
add
lot-
some of those to lot two?
on lot two, currently, the only difference is that on lot two, where the Dominies currently live, where the single family residence is, an automotive vehicle repair shop and maintenance shop is not allowed. So when in 2019.
But it has all the other,
But it does have single family, home occupations.
Okay.
Breakfast and vacation rental.
okay, good.
then this will bring it up to their all, both lots will be the same.
That's exactly right.
Okay, if you folks would stick around too to see if there's some further discussion, unless you have something else now. We'll open the matter for public comment, if there is any. Thank you. Anyone here in the room? And CJ, can you tell, is there anyone raising their hand online who'd like to speak?
Not currently.
Okay. Oh, it's step up now or not at all? No one's raising their hand?
No, sir.
Okay, let me close the public comment. This is usually a time for rebuttal from the applicant regarding public comment, but there being none, I think we can forego that step and have discussion. We've identified several issues here.
Yeah, one quick clarification. So the application requested a rezoning. It sounds like in consultation with the city, they came to the conclusion that amendment to the PUD made more sense for what they wanted to do.
versus a rezoning.
Yeah, the amendment requests rezone, but
So,
that's not
yeah,
what and
I
we're
just
doing
wanna
here today. So I
just
just wanted to
be-
clarify that.
Be clear of verbiage, we're not rezoning anything. The zone district is planned unit development.
Okay, that's
If
what I
you guys
thought. I just
pass
wanted to
this
clarify.
Tonight, it will be planned unit development, until someone else comes in the future and wants to rezone it.
Right, same
Yeah.
zone amendment.
You were clear, Don. We got you.
Excuse me,
And Karen has something as well.
I was gonna say, before you close the public hearing, I would suggest asking the applicant to explain what they think a vacation rental is.
Okay.
That may be helpful to your discussion.
Dominic, did you?
They're coming up to the mic.
To us, it would be long-term rental or for like 9 months or less.
If it's 9 months, there's no need for a short-term rental at all.
30 days is longer than what we considered short-term rental.
Any month, any monthly arrangement.
Long-term rental, I think that's permitted use.
That's just a residence.
In that.
I don't think we separate whether you're renting or living in it if it's a residence, right?
Well, one of these wouldn't be.
The
the
only
residence.
distinction is if it's short-term.
Yeah, as far as allowable uses go, within any straight zone district or any residential house, the owner of that residence can rent that out for long term, which is anything longer than 30 days.
There's two lots, so presumably they can only live in one of them, so one of them would
Sure.
presumably not be
Owner occupied.
owner occupied. So where does long-term rental of a non-owner occupied residence fall?
Well,
It's just a
Long-term
residence.
rental is not governed by the short-term rental
Yeah.
provisions.
No, I get that, but where does it fall in terms of?
As a
It
residence.
doesn't.
Yeah, it just falls.
It's
Residential
just,
use.
can you use it as residential? It's just residential.
Okay, all right,
Doesn't matter whether you're renting it or owning it and living in it.
okay.
It's table L, it's not a lodging use. That's
right.
That's the lodging business, if it's short-term rental,
Okay.
or if it's more than 10 units. Are less than, well, I'm not sure how. I'm puzzled by how the bed and breakfast provision works. It's PC and PUD.
Well, we're not.
We're not changing
Typically,
that.
they'd have to come with to get the approvals to operate that business, and that's a whole different process, so we're just covering the zoning today.
Yeah, I'm not sure, well, if it's not a short-term rental. What is it if we authorize a bed and breakfast? It looks an awful lot like a short-term rental.
Well, we're not authorizing that. That's already in there. We're just saying it continues to be there.
Yeah,
I think we're adding it for one of the lots.
It's
I know
possible that
that's
we
not
could add it
kind
to
of-
lot
We're
two.
not adding it for one of the lots,
we're
both
just-
lots 1 and 2, currently speaking. if
Have all
whoever
those.
Currently speaking, could potentially do a bed and breakfast
Okay.
on lot 1, 2,
Okay, thank you
or
for the
3 of the
clarification.
subdivision.
yeah, we're just affirming it in there.
I think it's easier to understand it.
I'm gonna go ahead and let you
Just
sit
look
back
at-
down so you don't have to just stand there.
Yeah.
Let's stay close.
Thank you.
It's a request to really to continue the uses that were previously approved before the automobile came along or repair. So it's kind of saying, yeah, that's what you had before. This is what you're asking. It's consistent
Back
with
to the
what was
future.
first approved.
So I'm predisposed that there's nothing here that's a big deal and they're just going back to residential instead of the automotive shop, except for the fact about the non-owner occupied short-term rental. I don't think we can do anything about that.
I agree
I
with
don't
that.
think we can do anything about it, and the question is, do we do something about the vacation rental, which is still sitting there? The approval list of
That's
uses.
approved
not the
PUD. I don't think we
application
need to do anything about that.
Yeah,
Oh, excuse me, just for clarity of minutes and stuff, I assume we've gotten through any public comment, rebuttal, and you've closed the public hearing?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
Comment.
okay, so now you're into deliberations, thank you.
Yes.
What were you saying, CJ?
Sorry, it left me.
The vacation rental. Do we need to do
Correct.
something about that?
Yeah, because, well, technically, legally speaking, I hope I'm not speaking out of turn. We cannot change that vacation rental. You guys can't take that away. because that's
approved
not the
PUD.
Application at hand, and that's already allowed within the PUD, and that's not what was legally noticed, taking that away.
Correct.
Except it may be it was already, not the bed and breakfast, but the short-term rental when it's not a principal residence was prohibited in the city, except in certain designated zones. The neighbor commercial, community commercial, service commercial, and CBD. It was not allowed in PUD. So it seems to me the ordinance made that a vacation rental one, insofar as it's identical to short-term rental one, prohibited.
Correct.
That's how I read
I mean, it would seem that way.
Correct.
Seems pretty clear.
So the request to add a use that's not permitted by the table, I don't think we can.
And I'm sorry, I keep interrupting. I just want to just make it clear is the reason why the exact verbiage of non-primary short-term non-primary STR is in there because currently speaking, a vacation rental.
Doesn't exist
air
as a
quotes,
definition.
We don't have a definition for that. So if this PUD moves on, right, with that use in there, it's just going to cause a lot of confusion in the future sometime when, either the Dominies or someone else moves in here and wants to do a non-primary, or, of STR, because it says, well, vacation rentals are allowed.
In order
So
to, in order
Is there
to
an-
use it, it's
Is there an
required to get a
argument that
business
it's
license.
grandfathered, that it was previously approved? No, I don't know that the SCR ordinance provides for grandfathering.
No. Because all the STRs that were in residential zones are no longer allowed unless they're primary owner occupied.
I don't have in front of me, sometimes ordinances, if it was previously an existing approved use, they allow it to continue, but I don't know. Just looking for that clarification.
Even if we didn't touch anything and left vacation rental in there, it's prohibited by separate ordinance. Title 5 business licensing requires a business license. And you try and get a business license for a vacation rental, I think won't go.
Right.
Someone came in with an application, CJ, for a business license for non-primary short-term rental in an area that a PUD is saying vacation rental. I don't think a license could be granted. At least I'll speculate it would be it would certainly be
Yeah, it's a bit
question.
of a hypothetical that's
Yeah.
outside of our authority here, but it seems every question we're trying to get you to as much a yes as possible, but every every avenue we go down seems to come to the same conclusion that
Karen, what
the
was the,
non-resident STR is not a permitted use in a PUD, and as such, we could not approve that.
Karen, what was the staff recommendation or CJ?
Okay, so what we were thinking when we pulled this together was it already says you can do a vacation rental here. We do not have a clear definition of that. In my mind, and looking at our little friends AI online, a vacation rental is typically something that's fully furnished, like a house, a condo, or an apartment that is rented out to travelers for short-term stays, typically for leisure purposes. So that's how our friends at AI there are looking at what is a vacation rental. Like I said, we do not have a good definition already in our regulations. And so the thinking was, and I did not have in my head that nuance related to the 2 years of the regulations that can't be modified or changed. The thinking was that was a non-primary residence STR was the more contemporary term that fits within the City of Woodland Park regulations. And then the next thought was within PUDs, often those uses are established at the time the PUD is established, hence the vacation rental. So, because there's no vacation rental listed in our use table either. So that was really what the thinking was to just get contemporary language associated with this. That may not be possible given the limitations and restrictions that we're dealing with. My understanding from talking to Mrs. Dominy is they do not have an interest in the near future of renting out the property. That they're looking to stay there for the most part. So at some other point in the future, through a subsequent amendment, we may be able to get that corrected. So it's not the end of the world if you keep things with that terminology of vacation rental. It's just not great.
Yeah, I would be proposing that we would approve this with the vacation rental staying in, and that they keep that in there at least, and then come back in December and let the city council decide if a vacation rental that was pre-approved for PUD includes non-primary resident short-term rental unit. And let them figure that out, because, you know, it was obviously planned and zoned with the PUD for these type of purposes long ago. And they just want to get moving with that. So I wouldn't be objecting to what they want to do.
So let me throw out a real, what I think is a real simple proposal to fix this and get to where you're at. So under the staff recommended approval based on the findings, et cetera, it currently says change the use from automotive vehicle repair and maintenance shop to single family, I'm paraphrasing slightly, to single family residential and home occupation, bed and breakfast. And where it says non-primary resident short-term rental, strike the words non-primary
Residents.
Well,
or resident. Well, no, it would be,
do we,
what was it called?
rather than approving
It's a
this,
primary
rather than
residence.
approving this list,
Short-term.
that
Yeah, strike
currently
on.
exists, don't we just strike out the motor vehicle maintenance?
That should be it. Just everything else remains the same for now.
We don't approve a bed and breakfast. We don't approve a vacation rental.
It just stays the same.
It just stays the same because of how it works with the short-term rental ordinance as questions.
That's the answer.
So if we just delete them, and what's the proper terminology, motor vehicle maintenance?
Then one could argue, what are we achieving?
Well, because the owners wish to do it and they've gone to the
Okay.
trouble of putting an application in. It cleans.
And they need it back to
Cleans up. the
Single
use-
family residential.
Cleans up.
that
the
needs to
usage
come back.
list.
Okay, well, that's an important.
That's a
that's-
first change.
Yeah, that's the important change.
If they want to sell the property, somebody might want to know that they can't have a motorcycle shop next door.
Yeah, okay, fair enough, fair enough.
Motor vehicle.
No, so I think we just strike non-dash and make it primary resident short-term rental as written. I think we can approve that, and if that's what they want. But I think that's where they need to come forward and tell us, based on the limitation of cannot approve a non-residential STR, what do you want?
I would,
If you follow this, Mrs. Dominy, we're saying if we don't change these provisions, we're not saying that there's no problem running a short-term rental business. There may be a problem. But we're not taking out the language you currently have on it.
Well, I
It-
kind of, a
no.
little bit are, because as I read it, and I think it's a consensus here, we cannot approve a non-primary STR as a use.
So,
But
so
we can't, but
if the.
primary residence STR is a permitted permitted use. And so we just.
I
scratch
wouldn't
out
even
the,
go there
you know,
though,
Scratch out
Yeah.
3 letters and everything as written is perfectly good.
but I wouldn't go there. I just leave it vacation rental for now. That's approved PUD.
Well, it's their application, so
I understand,
I'd like to know what they would like us to do.
because it does change
You follow.
potential
would you like-
use
I hear you.
Excuse me,
by changing it to primary.
I'm not disagreeing,
Occupied.
we just
the
need,
narrative of their application actually includes vacation rental.
but there's, hopefully we counsel them that there's no such legal entity.
Do you want to
so
invite Mrs. Dominy
I
up and?
I would like to know if where you'd like us to go with your application. Like I said, we're trying to get you to a yes, but as it's written right now, I don't think we can say yes, but I think a simple change here or there can get us to yes.
Okay, what we would like then is for it to revert back to the residential, not the automotive, keeping everything else as it was written in the PUD.
That works.
Yes. So
That's what I understood.
are we clear? Is that-
That's fine,
Good
Is
luck
it-
with that.
because they can
Check
pursue
with
that
everybody
later
agrees.
when the ordinance is no longer restricted
Okay,
from
Is-
being
is-
changed.
Is to affect this, we're saying delete the reference to automotive maintenance. And that would be the
Change it
motion.
to single family residential. Or,
okay, lost the bubble.
Staff's
Where is it
Can-
now?
excuse me,
So
staff's
we're-
preference would be to very clearly articulate the uses that are going to be allowed to continue. So that does include that list of bed and breakfast, home occupation, and vacation rental, in addition to the single family home.
You don't have to do
No,
10 hours of research to
I'm-
figure out what it says.
Personally, I'm not
Agreed.
gonna vote to endorse the list of current bed and breakfast and vacation rentals, or some version of non-primary residence STRs.
Other than non-primary SCR, do you have
But I'm just,
objection?
but people, you know, I'm
You have an
I'm just
objection?
one person, and people don't have to agree with me.
Well, I'm just trying to parse out a little finer. So the non-primary resident, I would argue, and I think it's been argued here, that we don't have the ability to approve it. It's not a permitted use. So that's one. But you mentioned also the bed and
I
breakfast.
would not want to vote to authorize vacation rentals, because that appears to me to be this.
but that's not the question. Those uses were already approved by planning commission and city council on the PUD.
Okay,
And all we're
if-
working on is going from automotive shop to single family residential.
If that's what it's limited to, I've got no problem.
That's what we're doing.
And
Yeah.
those current allowed uses per the PUD are on the slide.
Which
For both
may or may
lots.
not be fully effective.
For
under
both
our
lots.
Municipal ordinance.
TJ, for both lots.
For
Yeah.
both lots.
They're already there.
And one of the lots has, in addition to this, automotive repair.
Currently.
So what's the problem? They've got everything they need.
No, they want the single family residential instead of automotive
They
repair.
want the automotive, ultimately.
Well, they haven't.
So
they have to-
ultimately speaking, Mr. Hoying, so
Okay,
when they got into 2019, when the PUD amendment went through for the automotive shop, that reverted that specific lot to a commercial use.
okay, so you,
Okay,
so that
so-
does not apply to both lots currently.
The automotive use only applies to lot one where the shop is.
Okay,
So,
But
so
these apply to lot one. Could you say,
yes, yes.
so is lot one the same as this, but also includes
Also
automotive shop?
includes the
It
automotive
already has
shop.
the residential. So we're really
Yes.
saying
just remove
question is
automotive? is all
from
we're saying.
the automotive maintenance use removed from lot one.
Right.
Okay,
In the future, if the Dominies ever were to build or do anything, the building department would look at this through the lens of a commercial use. That means a lot more time, money, and investment from the
Okay, no,
Dominies.
and like
They
you
would
said,
like
maybe they
this.
don't want a neighbor running,
Yes, they would like that automotive shop
Okay, that's fine.
entitlement removed, so this parcel can revert back to the residential status in the Teller County Assessor's website and through the
Yeah,
lens of RVD.
that'll work.
That makes,
Yeah.
Hey, does that,
Is that right?
that
Yes.
makes sense?
you agree with that?
Okay,
Mrs.
so
Dominey?
Yes.
we're just removing the automotive use, and that's all we're doing today.
Okay, just, people can't hear, me. Mrs. Dominey, you're nodding your head, you're agreeing with this. finding
Yes.
Acceptable.
Okay.
Great, thank you.
I'd like to remind the planning commission too, that with a PUD amendment, the planning department, commission is the final decision-making body.
Right.
Oh,
It doesn't go on to the city council for their review.
very good.
Mhm.
So, what we're doing today and what we're going to document in the minutes of this approval will be just what we said.
Done and done.
So
All
with that, someone is want to carefully state. what it is.
Save
Do
time.
All right, I'd like to make a motion for approval based on the findings of the staff report of the request by Carol Dominey and the Dominey family for the PUD amendment to change the use of the automotive vehicle repair and maintenance shop. So that is removed from the PUD, so it reverts back to single family residential. And all the other uses that were listed on the PUD for lots 1 and 2 remain the same.
Is this for lot one?
The removal of the automotive vehicle repair and maintenance shop is for lot 1.
But the uses also carry over to lot two.
Right. So, and,
So is that-
and then and there's no change to lot.
No
two.
change to lot two.
Okay.
So for.
Can I have a second, can I have a second before we have discussion on the motion?
Okay, sure.
Second that motion.
I'll second.
All right, Larry, second. Do we have discussion?
I just wanna go look at CJ and Karen and say, is that clear what's being approved and will that be? You'll have no trouble recording that and that'll be clear to all who come henceforth.
Yeah, and you guys all know Amy and our staff who does the minutes. She's not listening here tonight, but I'm sure she'll have a good time listening to this at a later date. But as far as what's as far as the motion on the table, my understanding is that you are removing the automotive and vehicles repair shop entitlement on lot one. The rest of the entitlements currently listed within the PUD are still valid for lots 1 and 2.
Well, you made Amy's job a
Conditions to that.
Let me ask you, do the conditions stay, or should we bring up the conditions to see if any of those are still need to be in place?
Why does it? You made Amy's job a lot easier because you stated it very well.
Thanks.
Well, we have condition number 3. Prior to operating a non-primary residential short-term rental unit at the subject property, the application may submit for and gain approval of a short-term rental business license with the city of Woodland Park. So I guess that's so.
We could add that
I'm sorry,
nothing about
just-
approving these as uses.
Yep.
Presupposes that any applications or business licenses will be pre-approved. But it's kind of.
We don't need to
Yeah.
change the
State that.
conditions.
Just muddies the water.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you need to
the
state that.
conditions just need to stay the way they are.
The conditions can stay the way they are and it still applies.
Okay,
Yeah,
would
there,
you like,
it's right there.
do we want to amend the motion to add those recommended conditions?
I'll amend the motion to also include subject to the conditions listed in the presentation by staff.
Do we have a
1 through
second
4.
on that?
A second.
Okay, that was Don Hoying.
Now we need a vote on the
All
amendment.
right,
before we can vote
any
on-
discussion on the amendment? You're being, can I have a vote on the amendment to the motion? So it basically adding the conditions.
Right.
We need to do roll
Yeah,
call for that.
we'll just do one roll call. What's on the table is the motion.
Okay,
No, typically you have to vote on the amendment to the
Yeah, you have to
motion,
vote on
so
the
it would be
amendment
2 votes,
first.
but it won't take long.
All right,
Do you want to do aye or roll
He'll
call?
call for it.
Roll call. You guys have confused me a little.
We're voting on the amendment
We're voting on.
to add the
amendment.
conditions
as the
Okay.
conditions to
to the
the.
motion.
Okay. Ken Kennedy,
Yes.
Don Hoying,
Yes,
Don DeZellem,
Yes,
Vice Chair Larry Larson,
Yes,
Chair Lee Brown.
Yes.
and now
All
we
right,
can.
Now we're back to the original motion as amended.
Amended with the conditions.
Any further discussion of that? Can we have a roll call?
Ken Kennedy,
Yes.
Don Hoying.
Yes,
Don DeZellem,
yes,
Larry Larson,
yes,
Vice Chair.
Yes.
Chair Lee Brown.
Yes,
Motion passes.
motion
5-0.
passes unanimous. A lot more difficult than we might have expected. Thank you for your patience.
the, I do have just a question on the process, so if you don't mind.
Sure.
So as a change to the PUD plan, the water ordinance now would apply. And it was discussed, but it says the city approval of the city, the connection availability of water exists. So I read that as that is incumbent upon the city to make that assessment and that determination. So, in the future, I guess I'd like some clarification on, am I reading that right? And then how is that normally to apply? What can we expect?
As part of their presentation and that kind of thing, you're thinking?
Well, that's one way. I would personally like,
Does the commission have a view on that, or if not, does the staff have a view on that, or is that's an open question?
Well, as far as, the ordinance being passed, the ordinance is, quote unquote law. It's part of our
Yeah,
municipal
yeah.
code now. So whenever we receive an application that ordinance applies to, just like in this one, those provisions will be included within the staff report with staff's analysis.
so through the staff report is your, how you intend for the city to comply with its responsibility under that clause.
That's exactly right.
Okay, I would, in general, I would like some, from from Kip's, analysis of the water use and the tap plan and all that, that's what I would have expected, to have some reference to that.
Yeah, and
That's
and I
not
did-
relevant to this matter, because we didn't, you changed.
Took
the
something
use.
away.
And that's
That's
why,
changing
and that's
use.
why I
It's
waited
a
to ask my,
You're right, a reduced use.
and that's why I waited to ask my question until afterwards, and they did address it in the presentation, but just going forward, I just want to clarify what we should expect of you,
Sure.
quite frankly.
Yeah, and I could have communicated that a little better, with Kip's comments on this specific project with the Sturman PUD. He did state that a water tap would potentially be available if they meet all the requirements, because the PUD was approved with that residential use. Therefore, our utilities department has allocated, taps available, so, and there's not currently a tap on that lot 1. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I just should have.
I think that would be a little cleaner if we had, that statement from, I forget Kip's title, and stating that it's accounted for in the tap plan.
Okay, hopefully we'll be
Okay.
happy with
All right.
my next presentation. Thank you.
This was a tough one.
If you get a second
Surprisingly
chance
tough.
tonight, you can talk it in there if you don't have it written in.
But Ken boiled it down to be very simple, so thank you for that, Ken.
Okay, moving along. Next item.
Real quickly before you get started, CJ, I'm not seeing Jonathan or Frankie, your applicant.
We have Frankie in the room and Mr. Bramlett here's as well. I'm not sure if he's planning on participating or not, but just listening. Okay. So Frankie is in here.
Okay, good, thank you.
Okay, next item is 4B on the agenda. Top of Paradise Master Plan Extension, A25-0187. Request by Frankie Valenzuela and Ventus LLC. For a 5-year extension of the Top of Paradise amended master plan to August 4th, 2030. The land area included in the master plan extension request is 40.69 plus or minus acres and currently planned for 38 single-family dwelling units. The subject property is generally located north of Ponderosa Way and east of Majestic Parkway in the suburban residential zone. Okay, CJ.
All right, thank you, Chair. Yep, as stated, this is the Top of Paradise Master Plan extension, and this is an application for a 5-year extension. The land area currently known as the Top of Paradise Master Plan was previously known as Paradise Ranch Addition. It was annexed in 1975 by Ordinance Number 6, Series 1975. In 1999, City Council approved the first preliminary plat and master plan, which encompassed 198.5 acres in total of 120 single-family lots. In 2005, City Council approved the amended Top of Paradise Master Plan, which encompassed 197.7 acres, showing 175 single-family lots and allowing up to a total of 190 lots within the suburban residential zone district. As seen here on the slide, which is the Top of Paradise Master Plan vicinity map, the master plan encompasses several subdivisions, including Forest Edge Park, 4th edition, Forest Edge Park, first filing, Thunderbird Estates, and Paradise Estates filings 1 through 11. Other subdivisions located within the amended Top of Paradise Master Plan that have received final plat approvals include Paradise of Colorado, filings 1 through 4, the Highlands in Paradise, the Haven at Paradise, as well as Kings Crown subdivision. On the right-hand side of the slide is the subject property outlined in red, which is the parcel in question tonight. This 40-acre parcel outlined in red, as seen here on the screen, is owned by Ventus LLC and is the property in question regarding the Top of Paradise Master Plan extension. The subject property is zoned suburban residential, which allows for a total of 1 dwelling unit per gross acre and allows a variety of lot sizes with a minimum lot size of 15,000 square feet. This slide is a snapshot of the approved Top of Paradise Master Plan. Again, outlined in red is the subject property, and this area has previously been approved for 38 single-family lots, as seen here on this slide. For larger scale developments, such as the top of Paradise, a master plan is reviewed as part of the preliminary plat process. Since the subject property has already been approved for 38 single-family lots, the City of Woodland Park Utilities Department has planned for a maximum of 38 individual water taps to be allocated within this land area. Title 17 of the subdivision regulations does not provide specific criteria or guidance as to how a master plan extension request is to be evaluated. Therefore, similar to prior extensions, staff applies a practical approach to determine the request, if the request is reasonable. On June 20th of 2025, the Woodland Park planning staff received an application from the owner and applicant for a 5-year extension of the Top of Paradise amended master plan to August 4th, 2030. On the right-hand side of the slide is the comprehensive master plan future land use map that has been updated since the last time this master plan was extended. As you guys can see from this map, the residential character of the property still exists. The application was referred to the entities listed here on this slide. Staff only received one comment, and again, that was from the Woodland Park Utilities Department. And that was because of the master plan has already been approved. The Woodland Park Utilities Department has planned for 38 single-family water taps at this location. And as for the staff findings, I just want to admit to you all here before I get called out is the staff report did have a typo under this section. If you guys did not catch it, okay, perfect. If you didn't catch it, I was gonna say, dang it, I shouldn't have said it.
You were coming pretty fast, right?
But I knew you guys were too smart for that, so I
I didn't
sincerely,
until you mentioned it. It was very obvious.
I sincerely apologize for that.
I got it.
So a little mud on my face there, but I'll own it. So, but as far as the staff findings go, there are no regulations to assess. Staff does not have a position or recommendation on this extension request.
CJ, we do live in a cut and paste.
We do.
World.
I mean, yeah.
And it's easy to understand that, you do need.
Yeah, wait till everyone's using AI, it'll be even more messy.
I agree.
Is there a presentation?
Yeah, we have Frankie here in the room tonight. Yeah, Frankie, if you want, or you guys have any questions or?
Well, a question for staff real quick. What's the traditional approval on a master plan?
5 years.
5 years. Okay, thank you.
Okay, your name and address, sir?
Frankie Valenzuela, 9477 Brook Lane, Lone Tree, Colorado, 80124. Good evening. I provided a narrative just in case there is new commissioners, just to provide some history on the development. But ultimately, we're just looking for a 5-year extension. Everything stays the same. We couldn't develop both areas in tandem, but we did complete one of them, which was the Haven at Paradise. And now we want to start working on the upper portion. That's why we're asking for a 5-year extension. That's all I have.
Okay, we did receive your narrative, thank you. Other questions?
I have questions, but I don't know, should I wait till?
For the applicant.
Questions for the applicant?
Oh, not specifically, no.
Okay, if you remain around, sir, so we have questions do come up.
Thank you.
All right, is there anyone who would like to make public comment on this? You step forward, name and address, please.
My name is David and I live on Paradise Valley Drive. I'm a retired law enforcement officer, so
I'm sorry, David, what?
David, and I live on Paradise Valley Drive. I'm a retired law enforcement officer. I don't want to have my name and address in a public record. I'm happy to show my driver's license to the chair or somebody after the meeting if that'd be
Staff's
necessary.
comfortable.
Yeah, you're fine.
Okay, thank you. All right, I live on Paradise Valley Drive in a house that was built in 1982. I've lived there with my family for 19 years, so just short of 20 years here in Woodland Park. Raised my family here, 3 great kids and wife, and love it here. Love this community. The public services here have been great. Police, fire, the few times I've needed anybody, very responsive. Public Works, everybody's been great. Love this community. And I didn't realize the problem of the traffic and the congestion on Paradise Valley Drive until I started working from home a year ago. And it was then that I saw the continuous construction traffic and then additional housing traffic going up and down Paradise Valley Drive. And there's a reason that's the street that everyone uses that I'm not sure was considered in any plan for that original project at the top of Kings Crown that's being worked on now, or for any additional projects. So I understand this extension is for 38 houses. And if you just have 2 drivers per house, let's say 2 adults per house, they're drivers, and they each make 1 trip up and back down the Paradise Valley Drive a day. That's 38 times 2 times 2, which is 152 additional trips per day. And I'll describe why that's a problem. Paradise Valley Drive, I don't think was designed for this type of heavy traffic. And not only do I see that street every day now that I'm working from home and staring out the window at it, but then I walk my dog at lunchtime or in the evening on the same street to get up to wherever our route's going to be with my dog, and dodging that construction traffic and the new owner traffic has become more and more perilous over time. I'm afraid that it's going to reduce the quality of life in our neighborhood. I think it already has. And property values, essentially, if someone's looking at a house up there and they can't hear themselves talk because of the traffic, that's going to be problematic. I think it also poses a safety concern for people that might be walking up and down the street there with their dogs, or riding a bike, pushing a stroller, things like that. Now I thought it was Blue Haven Street, but it's Blue Haven. Okay. So from Blue Haven, that existing area that's already being built up, there are 2 routes to get to Highway 24, which is where everybody's going. The first route is from Kings Crown to Paradise Valley Drive to Paradise Circle. And that puts you out by the Walgreens at that light to go across to Safeway or wherever you're going to go. That is 7/10 of a mile from Blue Haven to that intersection with 1 speed bump. I understand the speed limit's 25 miles per hour. The only other route from there is the longer route from Kings Crown. You turn left to go to Sun Valley, and then you come out on Morning Sun, which is the intersection at the Walmart. But that distance is 1.3 miles away, a total basically double the distance. So to say that those distances are going to be shared, I don't think is really reasonable. Everyone's going to keep going down and down Paradise Valley Drive, which is just going to increase the congestion on a street that I've lived on for 19 years for houses that have been there almost 50 years. This new issue, this new problem we're going to now have to deal with. But, and I don't know if this is the proper forum for this. I understand the current development is already there, and there's nothing I can do to stop that. I was a little late to the game and didn't realize that was something I could speak out before. But my possible solution, to offer a solution, is to put possibly 3 more speed bumps along Paradise Valley Drive, 1 every 2/10 of a mile, for a total of 4 speed bumps. Reduce the speed limit to 20 miles per hour, maybe even 15, if that's prudent. Have law enforcement out there enforcing that as well.
David?
Yes.
It's gone on for quite a bit. I don't think this really is germane to what we're talking about, the master plan.
Okay.
I think unless somebody else is missing something here, there will be construction traffic, and then later on residential traffic from
Right.
Blue Haven and Red Haven. Those are already final platted and such. The area that's still undeveloped, covered by the master plan here, isn't accessible from Kings Crown and from Paradise Valley. I believe. It's up Majestic it's up Majestic.
Mm.
Turn right for the road that we put in at the traffic circle there, and then follow, and then loop around National Forest. There's no connection for the undeveloped lots to Paradise Valley.
I thought I just saw on one of the plot maps there, a section at the very top of Kings Crown area, which is
There's a
directly
section-
across from
there's a
Blue
section-
Haven.
There's a section in green, which I'm sure we'll talk about, is open space and public access. This is for trails, this is for hikers and open space use.
Okay, and so I wasn't aware of the connection roads with this new proposed area. So we're being told that none of these new developments are going to connect onto Kings Crown or,
Not as. suggested
Not
by the
associated
master
with-
plan.
all right,
But fair comment regarding the construction traffic from Red Haven. People in Majestic complained about when things are built higher up in the hill. A lot of trucks, loud, it's annoying, it's dirty, muddy. And I think the city did take some efforts to try and control that.
So can we make a recommendation for David where he could inject his concern and possibly other traffic control measures?
Where's the right place? Yep, for highways,
Our Public Works Department.
public work.
Yeah, so your main contact, sir, would be, her name is Nicole Sauer. I think her last name is Saur, Sauer. In our Public Works Department, as far as implementing speed bumps or anything like that. So,
okay.
You understand, I'm not, it's a fair comment, I'm just saying it's not the subject of this
Oh, if
extension.
these new extensions aren't going to be connected like that Blue Haven area is, then you're right, the point is moot for what I'm discussing here,
The problem is
The
already.
point's not
created.
moot, but this is not
but not the form.
the injection point for that.
Gotcha, okay. All right, understood.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
and just as an FYI for the public too, this is just a master plan extension, so, sometime down the road, if the developer decides to keep moving forward, there will be another public hearing, process that goes on during the final plat portion. Where the lot lines were actually, drawn on paper and the
Mhm.
planning commission sees it and the city council sees it. So that's yet another opportunity for public to come and comment.
You're right. And also I'd say that had I known this was not gonna impact my direct community, I didn't see that one map that you did show, I think it was slide 4 roughly, that showed this area, how it connects to the existing streets, which I hadn't seen anywhere else until I just saw it up on this screen here, so.
Yeah, yeah, unfortunately, we don't, post all the master plans and the plan unit development
Sure.
and all that on the public website or anything, but, just as far as the records go, if any public member needs to see anything like that, we have public records request, and anything on this computer or anything we have in our files is, at your disposal. So,
All right, well, thank you for your time. Appreciate you gentlemen and ladies have a difficult job. And I appreciate what you do for us. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment.
Is there anyone else here in the room who wishes to speak on this matter? CJ, is there anyone online raising their hand who would like to speak?
No hands, Mr. Chair.
Okay, well, there's nobody, last chance, no one coming in. All right, we'll close the public comment. And is the applicant, Mr. Valenzuela, do you wish to speak? Any comments on rebuttal or?
No comments, just everything's in the narrative that I provided. That's ultimately our goal. So we'll be back here in the next few months on working with the city to get this developed.
You seem to nod, so I get, just to confirm, you concur the last comment I made that the area that's remaining to be developed is accessed up.
Correct, on,
Up Majestic. And it
Majestic,
doesn't-
correct.
It doesn't connect to Kings Crown.
Yep.
In Paradise Valley.
yeah, everything's gonna stay the
Let
same.
me ask, there was reference made in that to, you call it the green area. There are, on the master plan, there are two places where from the area being developed, indicated in the master plan that public access, open space and public access for trails will be provided. Tracks E and track F. You're aware of those tracks E and track
Yes.
F?
Yes,
And do I understand that your plan, when you come in with a preliminary plat, you will reflect those?
yes, sir.
Mr. Chair, are you referring to this green portion here connecting to National Forest and then this open space here?
Yes. One of the things I'm gonna be looking for when I see the preliminary plat is that particularly the first trail, the trail up above, if you point to it, CJ, where it's just a short trail, that's reasonable as a trail. It's got enough width for the trail and it's not climbing a cliff. And that it's usable as a trail. And the larger space at the end, the six plus acre space, that also is located approximately in the same location and that it's suitable for trail access.
Yeah, the green areas will stay intact. In regards to the topo and the conditions of those, we would have to work with our engineers to make sure that all that is accessible.
And that's why it's good to have a master plan and we're talking about it now, so you have an opportunity. Our new draft ordinance explicitly provides that this will come to the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board as well, and I'm sure this topic I'm talking about would be of great concern to those, so you want to have, I would think, have this in mind to avoid difficulties with your preliminary plat, and changes are uncomfortable and expensive, and so you keep in mind the two access points to provide them in a useful way similar to what's in the master plan map.
And I assume when you mean access point, public access point, not just exiting private property.
Exactly, those are, it's public access. I'm not very happy with the track G treatment now, which is the public access is not fully clear at this point. Hopefully that can at some point be cleared up.
Yeah, we have some homework to do on it. You know, we're asking for 30+ lots. Some of those lots are very difficult to build on, right? So we might have less lots, so. But in regards to the open space and Parks and Rec, we are going to be diligent, because with our last plot, we did have a few delays because of that, so we'll make sure that we're proactive in that we provide access to all that and a clear picture for commission.
Maybe the track G public access could be clarified in connection with your moving ahead with the preliminary plat for the area as a whole.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, definitely can relate. I mean, all the way down Sun Valley to the south, and then all the way down 24. There is no way to access the National Forest, which is right behind those homes, without going through someone's private property. So
Right.
that's very
And
unfortunate.
in fact, half of the properties that are being developed here don't have access, that are on the wrong side of the street,
Right,
don't have access unless this access point is provided. They
right.
have to cross through their neighbor's lot to get there without
Right.
these access points.
Yeah.
So it's gonna have increased the value of those lots that are on the other side of the street. It increases their value if there's some access points.
Yeah, well, we'll make sure that we look into all this as we prepare all the submittals.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Your questions while he's up? Yeah. Okay. I mean, I just had one general question asked before we get into. CJ, the master plan leaves in it areas that were formerly developed, like, have been platted. Those at the top of King's Crown. The Red Haven, Blue Haven area we're talking about and such. Once those are developed, the lots that are included when we had a discussion of this when the King's Crown was in, and it wasn't, I'm not sure it's totally clear, but those lots are sort of, the number that are in there are used up. The fact that there are 8 lots at the top of King's Crown went to 1 lot doesn't mean there's another 7 lots available to grab put someplace else. Is that correct?
Well, when I think about that question, I think about more from a water standpoint. You know,
I mean,
well,
from a
also acreage.
density kind of standpoint.
Within the, excuse me, within the suburban residential zone, I believe, and CJ can correct me on this, there is a minimum lot size of 15,000 square feet. But the overall density is what, 2 per acre? And I can't,
it's one,
It's one.
one dwelling unit per acre.
PUD.
1 dwelling unit per acre. So the whole plan still gets looked at holistically. So there is flexibility in there that somebody could potentially increase the number of lots in a future filing because they reduced them in an older filing. But you know, that's not the question in front of you. The question is, this is the whole plan. We've developed significant parts of it. You know, should it be extended for another 5 years so that the development can continue forward, very similar to how it's previously been envisioned?
So that is the question in front of us. If approving this master plan says I'll take the example, at the top of King's Crown, there are 8 lots that are proposed, that are in the master plan. A year or 2 ago, was a subdivision was approved to put 1 lot there. If this plan as a whole means we're saying those 7 lots can now be squeezed into the area that's there, then I start having some question about this master plan, and perhaps the master plan should be amended to eliminate from it, strike from it the areas that are already subdivided. There's no reason to master plan them here because they're already.
Doesn't that detail come at the plat or the final plat level, not the master plan level?
It's a master plan. It's on the master plan.
Okay. I
Yeah,
know it is.
if the applicants were to hypothetically add more lots, that would be presented in front of you at final plat.
And actually, just to clarify, there's a preliminary plat step that needs to happen yet
That's where the
too.
master plan comes in.
Yeah.
So if we reapprove this master plan, then they got to stick to it unless they propose to change it when they do the preliminary plat.
Exactly.
So we'll get a bite at that apple when that happens.
Yes. We can't do it now because the master plan shows that as 10 acres. And when we reviewed the previous project, maybe at that time was the appropriate time to say, you want 1 lot, you need to approve an amendment to the master plan, but we didn't do that.
Part of the reason, I guess it wasn't clear, I had this discussion at the time, and I thought the indication was that this didn't change the density in other areas of the master plan.
Right.
And I need to go back and look and see what was discussed. It was not entirely clear is the reason I asked the question.
So arguably that top of King's Crown could be an application could be presented to re-subdivide that. And it would
No.
be consistent with the master plan.
Yeah, but more to the point is, if it's not re-subdivided, can 7 more lots be added in other
Elsewhere.
areas?
Possibly, but that will have to come back for a preliminary plat and an update to the master plan, which will have to come back for us and the city council to approve.
Sorry, Mr. Valenzuela, I wish to speak, and that's okay.
Yeah, just to piggyback off of what CJ mentioned, right? We only want to, we want to push this forward per the original plan. KIP with utilities has only accounted for 38 taps. So obtaining more lots would be very difficult because we only have so many taps. So, the process would be getting this approved, submitting a prelim, getting red lines on that, working with the city to making sure everyone is happy on both sides in regards to lots, utilities, open space, etc. So I just want to clarify.
I'd like to say too, that in the planning commission packet, we received a copy of the approved and amended master plan for the top of Paradise. And we're asking that just like the last request we reviewed, we're asking to review a portion of that master plan and make a decision whether or not this should be extended.
When you say
I'm
a
not sure.
portion of the master plan, that's where you lost me.
Well,
That's kind of an oxymoron in my head.
That was what I thought I was saying. It's right to review, to approve the portion, but
well, again, we're looking at an area that was the top of Paradise was approved with 197 acres. We're asked to review an extension for a portion of that, which is about 40 acres.
Well, 20, yeah, what I was suggesting is the part that I'm comfortable with, the portion of the balance that's undeveloped with the number of lots that are in the lots that is balanced or undeveloped, and not extend an historical document which had planned for an area which was built out with lesser density, and use it to increase density in the undeveloped portion.
And keep in mind, we have an approved master plan right there in front of you that shows how that's platted and is to be developed. If it's going to be developed any other way than what is shown there, that master plan should be amended.
Right.
So if they wanted to
So
move
I
seven
think-
lots to
Well,
a-
then that says you can't move, I thought it was suggested that you could move those 7 lots into the undeveloped area. Now you're saying they can't without.
Well,
reviewing the master
That's what I'm saying.
I think what's in front of us today extends the status quo. If they want to, reportion the density of those lots within the constraints, then they would have to come back with a preliminary plat and a amended master plan that reflects that. So I think today all we're being asked to do is extend the status quo. Is that a fair statement, CJ or Karen?
My problem is.
Okay.
Is one member of the planning commission's endorsement of potentially increasing density in the remaining portion. I asked the question, I got it seemed to be an unsatisfactory answer. It said, yes, the 7 lots from the top of King's Crown that were in the master plan and were not built out could be shoehorned into the undeveloped portion, increase the density and the balance.
So they could propose to do that, yes. They could propose to do that in a preliminary plat and master plan amendment. We are not approving that today. Today, we're just approving.
Yeah, well, we're approving that density by saying the master plan's okay. So once they built it out,
It-
with lower density and portions of it, it seems to me that portion's done. And the master plan should be of the undeveloped portions, not of the developed.
So, Karen, CJ, so the acreage limits and the square feet per lot limits, where does that get applied? Does it get applied across the whole master plan or for each plat?
Both.
Both, okay. So they would have to stay within the legal limits for anything that they
Yeah,
plat
Per
within the master.
per
plan.
the SR zone
Okay.
district, which is that 15,000 square foot minimum lot area and the 1 dwelling unit per acre.
So they're in 40.69 acres, so they could have 40 or perhaps 41
Yeah, and. the
units
way we would-
maximum.
Yeah, the way we would
Okay.
look at that is the 1 dwelling unit per acre encompasses the whole master plan. So it's like.
But it applies
the
to
whole
each
area.
individual plat as well, correct?
So, yeah, on the.
I'm trying to
den-
allay
that-
allay
15,000
Lee's fears.
square foot minimum is about 3 per acre, give or take, right?
Say it again.
The ordinance limit is three, the maximum is 3 per acre, roughly it's 15,000 feet. Now, if you do that, you'd have to have some more space elsewhere.
Right,
I'm saying that space elsewhere isn't space that you chose not to use in an area that's it's been subdivided and developed.
so if, I'm asking the question, I'm not saying I know the answer, but if that limit applies per plat, then they couldn't take credit for those other 7 acres elsewhere.
Yeah, I mean, they
'Cause that's a
sold that and
different
the guy
plat.
decided to put one house on it, not 8.
Right. But if that would be in a different plat. So if what I'm saying is correct, and I don't know that it is, that it applies at the plat limit as well as the master plan limit, you know, then they couldn't take credit for the 7 acres and squeeze 7 more homes in here.
I think it depends upon what was set up, how the approvals were structured and documented. Woodland Park has historically had a lot of flexibility in prior filings, subdivisions. Which is part of the reason it's so difficult for us as planners to give somebody a yes or no question. The simplest question actually potentially requires voluminous research to be able to give them the appropriate background information and answer. So in front of you this evening is this request for this particular segment of the master plan, what appears to be remaining, and the segment that still has interest in being further developed. It's approximately 4.69 acres, and it's currently planned for 38 single-family homes. So the request is to extend that particular master plan related to this 40.69 acres. If somebody wants to amend this layout, number of lots, any of that, you will see that as part of the preliminary plat application. So at this point, I don't know what that looks like. Mr. Valenzuela mentioned that there may be a reduction in lots. Nobody's objecting to that. So just, that's not in front of you this evening, though. It's just the extension.
I observe in extending this master plan. Take a look at Red Haven and Blue Haven on the plan. It doesn't look like this now. It's subdivided differently. So what are we doing if we extend the master plan for 5 years, showing a layout, street layout that facts have overcome it? Red Haven and Blue Haven don't look like that. We've got about, I think it's the same number of, is it still, is it 24 or 23 lots? But it's close.
Yeah,
It's close. But if you follow what I'm talking about, look at the way it zigzags around. That's not what it looks like. We're approving for 5 more years to say, that's the plan. Well, that's not the plan.
Okay, so that's the part that's already been developed. So we're talking about the undeveloped portion that still falls within the master plan. That's all you're talking about. Sorry, we have an old graphic for you, and I guess hindsight being 2020 here, we should have asked the applicant to extract that portion so it'd be a little more clear, since you're having a hard time visualizing things.
Says that the larger scale development, top of is master plan review, part of the preliminary plat process, is for the approval of a maximum of 38 single family homes. City of Woodland Park Utilities Department's plan for 38 taps. So
His
this-
narrative
they're-
is what
they want the extension for the remaining 38 lots of the master plan. So I don't know. I know there's,
But the narrative isn't part of what's approved. And
I know, but we could add that to the motion for the city council, I guess. I don't know how you limit it. It's a master plan and Karen's saying it's for the undeveloped portion, not the developed portion. So it should, we're not
I'm
altering.
not sure people want to go there. I mean, I would be comfortable if it said, if that language that the applicant provided, the number of lots on the number of acres that are remaining undeveloped.
Well, that's in the
If that-
narrative,
if
so.
If that were incorporated, that would answer my question. There's not extra lots floating around that could be shoehorned into this.
That language also shows up in how this item was noticed for this evening, sir.
Exactly.
Well, so that it wouldn't be objectionable to add it.
Yeah, it talks
Yeah,
about the
it's-
acres and the number of lots.
The land area included in the master plan extension request is 40.69 plus or minus acres and currently planned for 38 single family dwelling units. That's what was legally noticed within this item. So that's what you're
That's
voting
what we're
on
gonna
to
be
recommend
approving.
approval to the city
Yeah.
council.
And maybe if added to this, there's a city comments box. The city comments box was, this master plan is for
The extension is for,
This extension of the master plan. Don't make me do some drafting, guys. This-
I'm gonna give it a shot at the motion when, we're done talking
Yeah.
about
And
it.
there may be others to talk about, at least at this point, this extension of the master plan. Is for how many lots?
38.
38 single-family dwelling units
38
on 40.69 acres.
Those are mine.
on 40.69 acres.
Mhm.
When we get to the end, at least consider adding in the city comments box, the extension of this master plan is for 38 single-family zoned lots on 40.69 acres. Wait, is that a problem for you, sir?
No, that's fine. That's what we're asking for. Ultimately, everything that we provided is per the subdivision regulations and Title 18 zoning ordinances. So,
Great,
thank you.
all right, but this is just one time. There are probably other topics people want to bring up, at least discuss. Please proceed.
I have a simple one for kind of a process technicality. You pointed there was no specific guidance on extensions of master plans. Normally, since part of the preliminary plat, arguably you could have waited and submitted the master plan as when you submit the preliminary plat, but I don't have any objection to getting this done and out of the way, so. But it does say very clearly that master plan shall expire 5 years from approval, and approval may be reviewed amendments. The master plan shall be accompanied by a reapplication. So what we're looking at today is not an extension request, it's a reapplication, technically. So I think that covers, there is a specific process spelled out,
Just,
and it's reapplication, and that's, I would say, what we are doing here today.
could you repeat that? You're saying it's a re-app? He applied within the 5-year period, is
Yeah.
that?
There is no provision for an extension of a master plan.
Yes, there is.
I could not find one.
It's in the subdivision code.
We get to the same place, so
It says 5 years.
it does say 5 years.
It
It very
does.
clearly says it expires after 5 years. And then it says approval may be reviewed and amendments to the master plan shall be accomplished by reapplication.
Keep on reading until you get to the expiration.
By the city planning commission and council, end of sentence.
There's a provision in there on extensions.
I could not find it.
It's over in the next column.
Can't swipe right on it.
I can see it from here.
If you find it, great. I was just trying to help clarify the process. It all ends up the same place. I looked.
Let's hope it's clear in our new codification.
If it's not, it should be.
It's worth taking a moment and letting Larry.
There's really
Very fine.
almost no reason to need to extend it because you're gonna have to come in with your plat anyway, so do it then.
The reason for not extending it might be part of the reason I was talking about, those things that are already built out, leave in the next.
I
If you
can't,
did a new one, you get rid of old news, land was developed, was no longer planned.
perhaps, I don't know. I can't get crawling the head of the person who.
We have in the past extended it, so that's certainly,
Yeah.
it's certainly what we advised, and I'm sure the staff advised the applicant to extend it, and he timely brought the application forward.
I was right, I was wrong. It reads that city master plan shall be approved, shall expire 5 years from the date of approval. Approval may be reviewed and amendments to this master plan shall be accomplished by reapplication to the city planning commission and city council.
So my proposal is when we finally
You want
put the
to,
words together
Call it
and
a reapplication, not an extension.
yeah, exactly.
all we need to
Motion,
do.
let the motion say a reapplication.
that's exactly where I was at.
You're helping us, sir, improve our methods. Good catch.
Well, again, it's been advertised as an extension, not as a reapplication.
And doesn't have
Okay, excuse me.
4 or 5 times.
And I appreciate your comments there, Larry. This is exactly why we're trying to update our regulations. The current regulations are not well written. So the question is, are they reapplying for the same master plan? Are they extending the master plan? To Don's point, you're getting to the same end result. This is not the first time an extension of this master plan has been granted. So I don't know that this semantic discussion you're having is serving anybody. The question is do you want to extend the 38 single-family residential lots on this 40.69 acres and that associated plan that shows those for another 5 years? That's the question in front of you this evening. We've already talked, and the applicant has said that they fully intend to come in with plans to further develop this area fairly consistently with what you're seeing. Any deviations or changes, because it sounds like as they get into doing the engineering, that some things are going to shift a little bit just based on topography and such. But that's why you have subsequent applications that go into more depth of engineering. So again, do you want to extend the plan as it currently exists?
I'm
I
ready.
think it still works to say that the master plan will be extended by reapplication.
Works for me. Consistent with what we told the public and.
Exactly.
And
We-
consistency with the code. And, to the points I brought up, last meeting. If we follow a slightly different path, but we end up at the exact same place, I'm okay with it. If we follow a different path, but it changes the outcome or it changes what rules apply, then I'm not okay with it. So we can be completely compliant with the code as written and get the job done today, I believe.
Hey, do we have
By
other?
the way, the ironically, the recent water ordinance does not apply to preliminary plat, which is where master plan falls, so it doesn't apply here.
Yeah.
Good. CJ's probably waiting for Hoying to bring that one up. I saw you look over, but it doesn't apply here, so
Do we have any additional issues we could bring up?
I'm good.
Okay, does someone want to make a motion that would refer to the master plan being extended by reapplication and adding to the city comments, the extension of the master plan is for 38 single-family zoned lots on the undeveloped 40.69 acres.
Is it inappropriate for the chair to make a motion?
I'll try.
Okay, go
I'll
for
try,
it.
but I'm gonna borrow this.
There you go.
Okay.
My writing too small.
What's it gonna say? This master plan will
This
be.
master plan will be
extended by-
extended by reapplication. We move that the master plan be extended by reapplication, subject to the addition of city comments reading.
Okay. I move that the planning commission find that this master plan will be extended by reapplication and that the extension of the master plan is for 38 single-family zone lots on unplatted on 40.69 acres. Is warranted and recommends that the city council approve the 5-year extension of the master plan amendment. Then the approval would state that the development is still subject to all the conditions and dimensions specified in the original as well as amended approval. That close?
Yeah, did you intend to have the statement on density be added in the city comments?
No.
No.
I just read it.
Now,
myself.
did you intend that it be inserted in the city comments section?
No. No, that would be part of our motion. The city council. In our recommendation to the city council.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Is there discussion? Apparently not. Yes, can you take a vote?
We have a motion and a second. Ken Kennedy,
Yes.
Don Hoying,
Yes.
Don DeZellem,
Yes.
Vice Chair Larry Larson,
Yes,
Chair Lee Brown.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously, 5-0.
Okay, I think we're done with the matters. Gentlemen, thank you for your patience.
Before we start the work session, I do want to close this recording, start a new one, just so it's cleaner on the back end for us.
Do we have any reports first? It was on the agenda. Karen, any reports?
Yep, sorry. I was getting there clicking, so I do have a couple of things to note real quick. The first one is just a reminder that next Wednesday is the appreciation barbecue for the volunteers on our various boards and commissions. So that's over Memorial Park at 5 p.m. next Wednesday. Look forward to seeing you guys there. And then the other one is to mark your calendars. You should be getting an invitation here in the next couple of weeks for Thursday, September 4th. That's a city council night. There's going to be a joint work session and training related to ethics that evening. I understand it's going to be at 5 p.m.
What time?
5,
Thank you.
Joint work session on what?
ethics. With planning
sorry, I
commission,
interrupted
city
you.
council. Those are the two announcements I had for you.
you have a scheduled, second meeting in August.
Yes, we do.
Will there be items to consider or a work session? Just curious.
The work session this evening,
No, in the next second August meeting.
I am not anticipating a work session at that meeting.
Okay. So you anticipate we'll have items to review and approve?
We do have items to hear, yes.
Okay, copy. Thanks.
Yep.
Hey, should we take a break for a couple minutes?
Close the
before
meeting
work?
first, so we can start the work session.